steals the car right out in front of my house, I would just laugh at it and buy myself a new car. You know, of course, afterwards I said to myself, hey, if someone steals my car, I cry probably because this was my jewel. That was the reality. Then I continued on with the story. And I said, as a matter of fact, my father died one year, just before competition. And my mother called me and I said, are you going to come home to the funeral? And I said to her, why? He's dead already. So I acted really totally cold, and people, it really worked. People were shocked about this. Some of them were appalled by this. And so, of course, since then, I've been getting those questions. Is this true? Is this not true? I mean, did your father really happen? The reality of it is that it never happened. My father never died before any competition. He died 3 months after a competition in 1972, and I saw him just shortly before he died. And we had a fantastic relationship. So there was none of that, of not having any emotions, not caring of my father dying. So that's the reality. So I think now it is important for people to know what is the reality. There is an opposite example is, for instance, with smoking the joint. I smoked the marijuana in the movie, an ant. And a lot of people ask me, did you really smoke a marijuana in this movie, or was it just fake? I said, no, I really smoked it. And I also inhaled, unlike some people claim.
You didn't see a blue T-shirt around? Waller had it?
The other question that people always ask me, Mike Katz was looking for his T-shirt in a movie. Did, in fact, everyone play a trick on him and steal his T-shirt or hide his T-shirt to confuse him and therefore lose the competition? The reality of it is that he did look for the T-shirt at one point just because he's misplaced it, but no one was hiding it. But after we saw this footage, we went out and shot additional footage to create a scene where a bunch of bodybuilders get together, throw the football, have fun, and then Ken Waller says, you know what I'm going to do to Mike Katz? I'm going to hide his T-shirt. As a matter of fact, I'm going to hide his bathing suit. I'm going to hide everything.
Hey, you know what I'm going to do when I get to Africa? I'm going to take Katz's shirt, I'm going to hide it. Mess his mind up a little bit.
So that football scene was actually shot way after the competition was over. And we have had all the footage already, just in order to create this scene of the Mike Katz getting his T-shirt stolen by Ken Waller, and that he messed up his mind, so he loses the competition. Pain in your muscles and aching, that's what makes actually the muscle then grow. If you can't go through this pain barrier, forget it. One of the most common questions I also get is, did we take steroids? Because now, of course, drugs is such a big issue in sports. And the answer is yes. It was just in a beginning stage because bodybuilders in those days just experimented with it. But it was not illegal. We talked about it very openly. I mean, anyone that was asked, he says, you take steroids? Yeah, I take 3 Dianabol a day. Or someone else would say, I would take this, and that. It was not an illegal thing. Now, after it became a big problem, then our federation said, okay, bodybuilders ought not to take steroids, and there will be testing done, surprise testing done. You could be called at any given time. And within 2 days, you have to do a test, so you can't get rid of the whole thing out of your system or anything like that. So that's what's going on right now. The bodybuilders are tested continuously. It's as satisfying to me as having sex with a woman and coming. People still ask me, for instance, is it true? And they're still trying to find out. Is it in fact true that a pump is better than coming? Because that's what I said in the movie. And the reality, of course, is no, it has nothing to do with one and the other. It feels great to be a champion. It feels great to train. It feels great to pump up and all those things. But how can you compare one with the other? It's two different things. You better get both, the pump and the coming. But I mean, the reality is I made up a lot of this stuff because I felt like that's the way you get attention. You have to, I believe that the more sensationalistic that you are, and the more outrageous things that you say, the more you get quoted, the more you get in the papers, and the more the sport of bodybuilding will benefit, because the more stories we will get about the sport of bodybuilding. So that's what it really was all about. We couldn't have made this movie about Arnold Schwarzenegger, about my life or something like that, about my bodybuilding or my drive to win or all this stuff. That would have been boring and it wouldn't have done well. What made this movie successful is because we had so many bodybuilders in the movie that were very colorful. I mean, Lou Ferrigno had a specific part in this movie, and it worked so well. People loved this character. Ed Corney, Franco Colombo, I mean, Ken Waller, Mike Katz, Serge Nubret. I mean, there were endless amount of guys that really brought the color and the dimensions to the film, and it made the relationships very interesting. Relationships that were, shown in the movie. A lot of it was true, and some of it was created and made up. But the reality of it is the movie has a lot of real stuff in there. I mean, the real competition, real training, real agony, real defeat, all of those kind of things it has in there.
One and only Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Many people come up to me and say how they were inspired by Pumping Iron. First I heard it about the book, then even 10 times more when the movie came out. They were inspired to train, it changed their lives. They tell you the most unbelievable stories of what impact it had, how it created in them the will to succeed in life and to do something with themselves, if it is in bodybuilding or in other sports or in business. It is amazing the impact the movie had. So I hope that this movie, when people watch this DVD, has the same impact on them as it had on many hundreds of thousands or maybe millions of people around the world, which is they walk away and get inspired and jump into the weight room and lift the weights to find out if it's really true what I said. Is a pump better than coming? It's not, trust me.